This is James Hirsen with the Legal Survival Show. We're here every week at this time on KBRT 740 AM. And as you know, we're a different kind of show. We talk about information that's vitally important to your legal survival in this weird 21st century we live in. Things that deal with your faith, your family, your property, your privacy. And today's show, we're going to really focus in on privacy. And as you listen, you may have a comment. You may have a question. You may decide you want to become a supporter of the show. You can go visit our website at www.legalsurvival.org. That's O-R-G, legalsurvival.org. Or you can call toll-free and leave a message, a thought, a comment. Toll-free, 888-260-4460. Take this down. Toll-free, 888-260-4460. And as you know, with this different kind of talk show, my identity, many of you know me, some of you don't. I'm a lawyer. I'm a law professor. This is a radio show for educational purposes to give you a general understanding. It is not to create an attorney-client relationship, and no radio show is a substitute for the kind of advice that you would get from your own attorney in your area. Now, that being said, we are definitely blessed because we are on a station that looks at the world from a biblical point of view, and what that does is it allows us to exercise the same kind of freedom that our founding fathers had in mind when they created our legal system with the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. So we're allowed to express ourselves freely. And so one of the things we're going to talk about, so you do want to stay tuned, is Google. Now, Google's become a verb. I know all of you say, well, I Googled this and I Googled that. But Google, of course, is this massive company with a market cap of $300 billion. And they are creating ways to retrieve information and data. And in many cases, they have gotten caught retrieving the wrong data or encroaching on data perhaps they shouldn't. And like many very large internet companies and many federal agencies, they've created concerns with privacy organizations. So what we're going to talk about after the break is a recent settlement where Google had to pay millions due to a breach of privacy you will find shocking. And remember, this is the same company that is coming out with a new product. What is the product? It's called Google Glass. And what does that mean? Well, it is a new breed of technology, a new breed of computing that becomes part of your body. And that's very important. It relates to what Google refers to as augmented reality. You won't want to miss this, so stay tuned. And as you listen, if you have any comments or questions, call our toll-free number and leave them on the message line at 888-260-4460. That's 888-260-4460. This is James Hirsen, the Legal Survival Show. Stay tuned.
James Hirsen will be right back with more of the Legal Survival Show.
You can help keep the vital information of the Legal Survival Show on the air. This show is a public service of the nonprofit Justice and Freedom Fund. We want you to have the access to the best information that's necessary to make informed decisions for yourselves and your families. Please help support this different kind of talk show designed to help you with the must-have tools you need to protect your family, finances, property, privacy, and freedom. Please visit the website at legalsurvival.org and click the tab at the top of the page that says Donate. You can make a one-time donation or become a regular supporter, and of course any help you provide is greatly appreciated. and check the site often for special free gifts. That's LegalSurvival.org. Please help us continue to bring the show into your homes and workplace by visiting LegalSurvival.org, or if you prefer, you can call toll-free 888-260-4460. That's 888-260-4460. 888-260-4460.
I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy.
This is James Hirsen with the Legal Survival Show. Glad to be back. I'm glad you're listening each week at this time as we give you this vital information. And today, I mentioned it's going to be about privacy, and it's about a very specific kind of threat to privacy that's going on in the fallen world.
What's happening out there?
Yeah, it has to do with Google and a new product called Google Glass. Now, Google, as we all know, is a massive, massive company. And Google is amassing information. As a matter of fact, you who are listening to KBRT, listening to the Legal Survival Show right now, that you don't realize how much Google has collected on you. Google has been amassing information for as long as they've been a search engine, but they have lots of other products now other than search engineing. Obviously, they have email, they have telephone, they manufacture the software Android for smartphones, and they keep having these problems with privacy. And this is the same company that's making these new computerized spectacles that are attached to your face that they call Google Glass. But before we talk about the problems and threats and concerns with Google Glass, let's take a look at a little bit about Google privacy. And what's instructive is to hear the way local reporters are talking about the kind of data that Google collects.
Google and other huge internet companies know a whole lot more about you than you think.
It's all the time. In most websites, everywhere will track you because the data they collect on you is very valuable.
So valuable that Google and the other search engines create a profile based on your past inquiries, and more importantly, what you've clicked on in those searches.
So if you go and buy some clothes somewhere at Macy's online, they will know exactly what you bought. And if you go and buy some baby formula online, they will know exactly what you're buying. So based on all of this, they can create a profile for the consumer.
Google's opinion is that if you're using their service to search the internet, that they have the right to basically store that data and aggregate that data.
Now, it's the data that they use and they aggregate for commercial purposes. Some of that is disturbing, but what Google got involved in recently was the people that were working for Google, that were out on the street taking pictures of their street view for Google Maps and Google Earth, got caught basically confiscating data from people's routers. If they didn't have it password protected, they were getting emails, personal information, passwords, all kinds of things. And Google had to settle. But Google Glass, this same company, is coming out with this essentially wearable computer with a head-mounted display, and it's in the form of eyeglasses. It's kind of like a smartphone that you wear on your face. But the way it will work, it'll display information too. Let's say you're wearing this, and similar to what you would see on the screen of a smartphone, but you'd see it almost the way Arnold Schwarzenegger saw things in Terminator, displayed out there in space, if you will. Various items, like the time and the temperature and any way you set it up. You work hands-free by talking to this computer, much the way Siri is talked to on the iPhone. And the problem is there's data collection going on with Google's search engine, data collection through the smartphones, and this data collection through this Google Glass. Then there's tracking technology that's out there, tracking people with GPS, and the capabilities of this raise very, very serious issues involving personal privacy. And so various federal agencies and companies like Google and Facebook continue to pursue what they call data mining. And they use technology and the internet so that digital privacy groups have sprung up and they're becoming concerned. Now, look, smartphone use has exploded. Social media and social networking has exploded. And huge amounts of personal data are being collected. Now, believe it or not, when they are funneled through algorithmic software, the end result corrodes personal privacy in our society in a way that George Orwell, the author of 1984, would have found shocking. I mean, algorithmic calculations using today's current tracking software can not only be used to indicate your location right now, but they can predict where you're going to go in the future to a great degree of accuracy. As a matter of fact, this software, this kind of software, there is a special version of it developed by the company Raytheon that has been employed by federal agencies to assist the targeting of suspected terrorists who are going to be taken out by drone attacks, something I'm sure you've heard about. Now, a site has appeared on the internet. It's an anonymous site called Stop the Cyborgs. Now, this site talks about standing against the algorithmic future. It has some very valid concerns about Google Glass. That's what it's set up to oppose. And similar technologies. Not only do these technologies have the potential to invade people's privacy and collect data, but they have the ability to do it without individuals knowing about it, without you knowing about it. And this site, by the way, says that its mission is to save humanity from what it calls the cyber collective, kind of like the Borg on the Star Trek sequel. Now, Google's eyewear is different from smartphones. And people love smartphones, right? If you're going to take somebody's picture with a smartphone, you're going to take their video with a smartphone, you have to hold the camera up to take the picture or record the video. This is not the case with Google Glass. There's somebody in front of you, they're wearing glasses. There's no way of knowing whether you are being photographed, recorded, videotaped. And here's another part of the equation. There's no way to know whether or not they've taken that information and actually shared it with another. As a matter of fact, the founder of Google has a wife. And his wife happened to go to an Oscar party, and she was wearing those glasses. You can kind of tell by this metallic look on the side of the frame. And a reporter from TMZ caught Sergey Brin's wife.
Excuse me, you have a Google Glass? Is that a Google Glass?
It is.
Can you just come here for a second? Because I heard about this today. Just one second, I promise.
TMZ.
You have a Google Glass on.
Yes.
Wait, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, I just heard about this today.
It's pretty awesome.
It's like the newest invention. It's coming out on, I don't know who you are. I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay.
But this is like the newest invention, right?
It's coming soon. Yeah.
How did you got that in advance?
So here, so I can.
Can I ask like how much that would set you back?
So I can say, okay, glass.
What?
Take a picture.
Yeah.
Here, I can go head to head with you. Okay, glass.
And what is it doing?
I'm sharing this now.
Oh, you're sharing a video. You're doing a video on your
No,
glasses.
I just shared it with. Okay, glass.
You shared it with what? Twitter?
With a friend.
Wow, that's crazy.
So Mrs. Bryn is talking to her glasses. She keeps saying, okay, glass. Okay, glass, take a picture. Okay, glass. And the reporter has no idea what's going on. What are you doing? Are you taking a video? And then she says, I'm sharing it now. And the person has no idea. Now imagine this in the future. You're walking around and all these people on the street or wherever you're going are wearing these Google glasses or maybe something worse. And the glasses are acquiring data in the form of audio, in the form of pictures, in the form of video, in other forms. And nobody knows. So where is the privacy anymore? As a matter of fact, there are some establishments, notably one particular one in Seattle that's already banned Google Glass. It's not even available to the public. There are prototypes that just a few people have. But Google Glass is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. We have to get into why Google, the company that's coming out with this, is very suspect when it comes to privacy. And we'll do that in just a moment. This is James Hirsen. You're listening to the Legal Survival Show. Our place to leave comments, questions, and concerns is a toll-free number, 888-260-4460. Toll-free, 888-260-4460. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Don't forget to visit LegalSurvival.org. James Hirsen will be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Please help keep the Legal Survival Show on the air. This radio program is a public service of the nonprofit Justice and Freedom Fund. If you appreciate what you're hearing, visit the website LegalSurvival.org and click on the tab at the top of the page that says Donate. You can make a one-time donation or become a regular supporter. And of course, any help you can provide is greatly appreciated. Check the sites often for special free gifts as well. Help us continue bringing the show into your home and workplace by visiting LegalSurvival.org. You can also call toll-free 888-260-4460. That's 888-260-4460.
It was just my imagination running away with me.
Welcome back. This is James Hirsen with the Legal Survival Show. We've been talking about Google Glasses, and privacy. Remember to visit our website, legalsurvival.org, legalsurvivalruntogether.org, and toll-free. You can leave a comment, a question, a concern, a thought. Toll-free, 888-260-4460. Toll-free, 888-260-4460. I wanted to mention, I talked about Google Glass. Now, these are these glasses. Things can appear in the glasses when you're wearing them because there's very sophisticated computer technology attached to the glass that is triggered by voice command. They can show you 3D imagery and very powerful sounds at the same time, which are blended with what you're seeing in the world. Now think about the possibilities for that. First of all, brainwashing, lie detecting, accumulation of data, pornography, a host of possibilities, people walking around blending a digital world with the real world all the time, every day. It's interesting because there have been science fiction writers who imagined a time when people would strap on these sorts of goggles and see holographic images and become addicted. And here we see it coming to fruition. In a world where increasingly we're seeing information used in an irresponsible manner, and the company that is coming out with this, Google, just admitted to violating the privacy of millions. Just recently, they had to pay $7 million, which is a very small amount for them. They had to set up new procedures to settle a case that was brought by 38 states relating to these street view cars that take pictures of your house and everybody's store and everybody's street and everybody's building. Now, as I said, Google has a market capitalization of almost $300 billion. $7 million is chump change for them. But a lot of people thought, well, Street View is invasive. But this is really of great concern. Because in addition to snapping pictures of your house and every address in the country, they were out there checking the Wi-Fi. And when they could get in, they would take passwords, emails, medical information, financial information, personal data from the wireless networks as they went down the street. Now, maybe this reminds everybody, if you have a router and you have Wi-Fi, and so many people do now, wireless Wi-Fi, you have got to have it secured. I mean, there are millions of unsuspecting Americans who have their personal data unprotected. So that's a lesson from this Google Street View debacle. It's a big story. Such a big story, in fact, it was covered by no less than CNN.
Google has agreed to pay a $7 million fine to settle a privacy lawsuit. It comes 3 years after Google admitted its Street View cars had inadvertently taken people's private data. Critics say the settlement is nothing more than a slap on the wrist since Google is raking in a revenue of $137 million a day.
$137 million a day, so $7 million, that's like, what is that, maybe 5 minutes worth of income, something like that. But, you know, we're talking about this giant company. And remember, this is a company that has already been slapped before. The Federal Trade Commission imposed a $22.5 million fine because of Google serving ads with their ad programs specifically to people that were using the Safari browser. I mean, Google's had 20 years of audits from the FTC the year before because of their Google Buzz service. And look, these companies like Google and Facebook acquire so much data and create these profiles on people, and then federal agencies want to share that. And you combine that with this Google Glass, and it's a scary thing. This $7 million privacy case, the thing that makes it so disturbing is that, and now the company claims it's inadvertent, we'll take them at their word, but their employees thought it was just okay to acquire email addresses and passwords and financial information and the like. Let's look at a little bit more detail from the report.
But it was really on that street view level when you can see pictures of your house, pictures of your work. And it's these Google cars that were going around from 2008 to 2010 taking pictures, but also accessing Wi-Fi networks that were not password protected and collecting passwords, email addresses, and other sensitive information that we all have.
You know, Google has a mantra, and their mantra is don't be evil. They're not supposed to be the evil company. You know, they kind of pointed the finger at Microsoft for being that way. But, and maybe it's a reaction that Google has. I mean, they have to fight government regulation. But the European Union is having problems with Google. Countries in Europe are concerned about their ability to use their data. So it's something to keep in mind. You know, when you're searching the internet, they're compiling a profile on you. And this is of great concern for people of faith who don't necessarily want their every move to be known by some corporation that believes in sharing. I mean, that's what social media is all about, is sharing. So there's no telling how government is going to react to this. And the scary part is if government has leverage on a company like Google, which they do, and many agencies want to get a hold of these pieces of data, then we may see a pattern of more privacy breaches, if you will. And so that's why bringing it full circle, this idea of computing technology that's attached to the human being that is somehow combining what Google calls augmented reality with reality. How is this going to affect people when they're walking around wearing these computing glasses? And then what comes after that? Oh, someone says, well, I'm losing my glasses too often. Maybe you could get me computerized contact lenses, or maybe implants in my eyes. It sounds like sci-fi. But you know what? The kinds of things we're living today were yesterday's sci-fi. This is James Hirsen. This is the Legal Survival Show. We're here each week at this time. If you have any comments, thoughts, concerns about what I've said, you can call toll-free, leave a message, 888-260-4460. Take it down, 3-888-260-44, and again, 60. James Hirsen, Legal Survival Show. Be right back.
It's the Legal Survival Show with James Hirsen. James Hirsen.
If you appreciate what you're hearing, help us continue the show by visiting LegalSurvival.org. That's LegalSurvival.org, or you can call toll-free 888-260-4460. 888-260-4460. 888-260-4460.
James Hirsen back, host of the Legal Survival Show, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. We're here each week at this time on KBRT 740 AM. And by the way, if you have a thought or a concern or a comment, something that this talk about privacy made you think about, maybe you think about a specific part of Scripture that relates to this, give us a call toll-free at 1-888-260-4460. Remember, tune in each week at this time where we at the Legal Survival Show will be bringing you justice with a capital J.